All right, welcome to our weekly stand-up. Today is June 10th, Monday. How's it going,
Hello.
Andler? Let's start with the tech.
Sure. I have some few updates in general. It was more debugging. For the KYC side, I don't have too many news. There's a few activity recently. Also, we're checking up on one of our tools with email system. So we are checking up on that. But besides that, there's nothing new. Also for the Bitcash block and landing. On the landing, we are just finishing to do for buy crypto. I'm just reviewing the changes that one of our collaborators is doing. DWOR, we're still progressing as last week to work on the new bugs presented on the Web3 version and continuing with the Web2. It's slower than expected, but we're trying to push this forward as soon as possible, mostly the Web3 than the Web2. And chain graph, we have been moving forward for the debug configuration. I noticed an issue with the scope for on the indexer. So I spent time working on that. Luckily, we have a node 3.2, 2.1 booting on a virtual machine. You can boot it up on anywhere on any virtual machine, and this helped for debugging for chain graph. So right now I'm just finishing a code review and raising up a pull request. So we have these fixes for the indexer and Delphi prices, which is something that is pending for a long time. So, and I think that's it, Jim. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, yeah. We have a lot of things that are probably medium priority.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Gob was not here. Bitlauncher is our focus these days to get ready for the pre-sale. So we'll have to get his update probably Wednesday or Friday, or we'll message him after the meeting. Other than that, yeah, I think the rest we can keep at our own pace just until after we complete our fundraising and have more resources as well. So let's go to the marketing. Just run through that real quick. Let me see. No update on Coinband. Crowd Tamer, I haven't signed a contract yet because of the legal delays. Twitter, it's been consistent with the quote retweets and getting engagement and activity. So Twitter, our social media has been at least good and consistent. YouTube Shorts, we did one video last week and just have some shorts coming out this week, but we have to schedule more YouTube videos. I'm starting to try to schedule the more AI related interviews. And yeah, well, this week I'll focus on getting more interviews lined up for both the Breakthrough series as well as the Bitlauncher AI focused interviews. Let me see. Yeah, trying to do other types of content on just for more experimentation than anything else on TikTok and Instagram, but using AI tools to use newer applications that allow us to create, let's say, avatars or just create efficient content. So we're experimenting there. We have our external marketing team setting up a plan to do a parallel outreach that's based on our kind of our core, I think, strategy, which is good. So I'm gonna have them just almost launch in parallel. So they'll be doing Twitter and YouTube just like what we're doing, but with different kinds of content. So I think that'll be good. We also have another external team that is going to help us out with social media. I haven't seen exactly what they've come up with, but they mentioned that they were going to help us out with some other outreaches. So that's pretty much it for marketing, I think. Yeah, if anything, we can add it for the next update. Anything on community, Discord, Bitcash
Mm,
Nigeria?
Nothing new so far, just the usual to get with the community. Any queries or questions about the app or registration, we are answering those questions. It's not so frequent. Again, we have a few activity recently. Yeah, we're just doing the same question and answers.
Yeah, let's also keep track of all the new signups that they're not always from.
No,
We don't know
no.
if they're for Nigeria or like our Bitcash Nigeria or if they're for Bitlauncher. So yeah, just we could talk offline, but let's keep track of that. So
I do agree with that. Okay, let's do that.
yeah. So beyond community, it's business and operations. The legal side is where I think the biggest hang up right now is giving me a little bit of pause. It's not a big deal. It's not a major issue, but I'm trying to figure out a balance of what kind of legal services that we're using. Like we could hire expensive lawyers, or we could have other companies that kind of are more administrative, and just balancing that out, and also identifying the exact structure that we need. So I think there is actually a very cost effective approach that we're likely to pursue, so that we could hit our timeline to get our pre-sale launched mid-July. So anyways, but I want to resolve things there. And then once we are settled on that, we can get the entity that we need up, and that will be great. I forgot to mention PR. I did mention talk to someone today for the PR, and so I have a Chainwire is the company I spoke with on the PR side, and they gave me kind of the lowdown on what it would take to get a lot of global and broad reach. But anyways, we'll discuss more of that. But there was a PR talk I had today. Back to legal, yeah. So that's the main thing. It was funny that I did interview Adam Miller from MyDAO, who has kind of a lot of experience with DAOs, and because they have a service provider for building under Marshall Islands jurisdiction. And anyway, so I got a lot of insights there. I think we are exploring that as another option. We may not need to set up an entity immediately, or even a DAO entity immediately. My current like view and thought is to just set up a almost like a just one entity, corporate entity, before setting up the DAO. Aside from legal business operations, other than that, just the pre-sale still scheduled for mid-July, but we'll see. Markets are fairly weak right now. I think all the altcoin markets, Bitcoin and Ethereum are okay, but it seems as though, yeah, altcoins have lagged Bitcoin. So timing wise, I think it's okay either way. I think we just want to be in a neutral market. Right now it's a little bit soft, but right now it's still scheduled for mid-July for our pre-sale. Last thing in terms of business development, there's the marketing firm that's helping us out, and there's another actually company as well. They're trying to come up. One came up with a filtered list of more angel investors that they've had from some time ago, but they helped us filter it to only angel and smaller investors. And then there's this other company that had a list of 14,000 plus VCs and investors, but I wanted them to filter it down to just the smaller angels. And they make right now they may come up with hopefully let's say 3 to 500, but these lists were a little bit dated. A lot of them didn't have active websites, just websites without SSLs, and they were just inactive. And people who've invested long time ago in crypto is like a few years, like 10 years in crypto is just a very long time. And so a lot of them aren't around. So what I'm going to do is have them update the list from 2020 on to make sure that they've at least invested something beyond 2020. So years is still long, but reasonable. And if we could get a good list of 200 or 300, then we could go after and reach out to investors individually there. That's pretty much it. That's more business development, but marketing I think that's all I had. Any questions or any thoughts, any bottlenecks you need help with?
So far, so good. The only thing that I forgot to mention on KYC is that not all the requests is coming from Nigeria. We have some several countries. Somehow they're coming. Like we have one on Colombia, and yeah, and other countries that I don't recall right now. Even
So
US.
since you mentioned it, do we have a number of Bitlauncher? So those are likely to be interested in Bit. So do we have a number so far of total registered?
Pull out that list, but yeah, I can share that. But maybe it's small, really small right now.
Is it
The
like
list
10 or something so far?
less, five or less. Yeah, I haven't checked the details, but I know that there is
Okay.
some that is coming from Bitlauncher. Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have a lot of traffic. It's okay, but it's a starting point. But we want to know what the
Yeah,
number is. We did have to reject a lot of US. So let's assume that it was maybe like 7 rejections or maybe more than that. But
from US, I have an exact number. We had 11 accounts that we had unfortunately to reject, but all coming from US. So yeah, the numbers are increasing over time, and that's good because we don't even have a strong marketing right now.
yeah, and then the US is unfortunate because a lot of our YouTube traffic is from the US and also
Yes.
Russia and a lot of Eastern Europe, which is interesting. I think I'm wondering if we should look at the numbers, but I suspected US would be strong, but unfortunately we can't accept them. But that's okay. That still
Yeah,
counts as at least interest, which will count it as interest, but we're targeting the wrong areas, and our content has to go spread out to those that are outside the US. So
I
that's
agree.
gonna be our focus. All right, cool. So
Yep.
thanks for the update, and let's keep it up. I think we just gotta, regardless of what the numbers are right now, we just gotta just
Keep
build it
going.
up. We even one I think is like the first person who your first client for revenue or your first client for fundraising, I think is you celebrate it. It's always with anything, like do events, very successful events, but it's hard. Like the first one, like it's just, and then you start building up. So it's okay. So you just be happy with one or a few in the beginning, and then it'll build up. All right, but that's cool. I think that's a wrap. Appreciate it, and yeah, we'll talk next time.
We'll talk next time. See you, Jin.
All right. Oops. All right, cool.